Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, the C Fund in the TSP over the last year has grown the most out of any other TSP fund. But does that actually mean you should be using it or using that primarily, or should you be using the other things as well? That is what we're going to talk about today, the C Fund specifically, and how most federal employees should think about using it in context with the other funds. Now, if you are a federal employee thinking about retirement, wanting to maximize your benefits, you're in the right spot. My name is Dallin Haas. I'm a financial planner who serves federal employees, and I absolutely love it. So let's talk about the C Fund. What is the C Fund? When you put your money somewhere, like the C Fund, where is your money going? The C Fund is invested in what they call the S&P 500. Basically, 500 of some of the biggest companies in the U.S. And because these companies are so large, it accounts for about 80% of all of the companies, okay, when it comes to just size, overall size. There are certainly thousands of publicly traded companies, but the 500 largest make about 80% of just the total size, or what they call market cap in the finance world. Basically, what the companies are worth, these 500 are by far worth the most. So these are the big companies in the U.S. If you are investing in them, right now some of the biggest companies happen to be Apple, Tesla, Berkshire Hathaway. All of these companies that are massive, that is what you're invested in the C Fund. And those are the companies that have performed very, very well over the last few years. Now, that doesn't mean that you should ignore all the other funds. Sometimes I talk to people and all they do is look at the past returns for the last few years and say, look, the C Fund has performed better than, let's say, the S Fund or the I Fund or this fund or that fund. So therefore, I'm going to put all my money into that one fund. Now, there could be times and places where that makes sense, but let me talk you through the pros and cons. If you invest all your money in the C Fund, you are invested all your money in the 500 biggest companies in the U.S. That's what you're doing. If that's what you want to do, perfect, do it. But if you invest in, let's say, the S Fund, the S Fund is all the other companies in the U.S., so small to medium companies as well. So if you're looking to get a more comprehensive investment in the entire U.S. stock market, having some S Fund would do that as well. And international companies as well. The I Fund can help give a more diversified approach to investments. Because guess what? You got to think about this in a long time horizon. Over the last few years, yes, the C Fund has done better than some other funds, but we don't know what the future holds. And that is the whole concept of diversification, is having money in different places. So if one thing does better than the other or vice versa, you've got a balance. Now, generally speaking, the C Fund is a great thing to have as a core piece of your TSP, a core piece of your portfolio. I'm not saying you shouldn't use C Fund. C Fund is fantastic, but I just want to share that just because that happened to grow the most over the last few years doesn't mean we should ignore everything else. You've got to find a balance for you, a diversification that makes sense for you, that you will not only serve you today, but also for the rest of your retirement. And looking at some short-term investments like G Fund, F Fund, those are bonds, those are safer investments, or more conservative, we can say, where they don't fluctuate as much as the CS and I funds, but of course they don't grow much, at least they haven't over time as much as those stock-based funds. So you've got to find the balance for you. I've got whole videos about how to think about picking different investments. But again, I just wanted to make this video to talk about the C Fund, where I love the C Fund. It's fantastic, but it doesn't mean we should ignore all the other funds because of that. So I hope that's helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video.